The Stoic Art of Inner Peace. Lessons from Marcus Aurelius. Hello and welcome to Carefree Sloth. Today, I'd like to invite you into a quiet conversation about something we all want, but most of us don't really know how to keep. Inner peace. Not Instagram peace. Not spa for one weekend and then back to chaos peace. I mean the kind of inner steadiness that stays with you. Even when life is messy, people disappoint you, and the future looks uncertain. To explore that, we're going to spend some time with a very unlikely teacher of calm, a Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius. So, take a breath, get comfortable, and let's walk slowly into the Stoic art of inner peace. 1. A busy emperor with a busy mind. When you hear the word Stoic, you might think of someone who never shows emotion, a stone face, a cold personality. But that's not what Stoicism really is. And Marcus Aurelius is the perfect person to correct that misunderstanding. He lived almost 2,000 years ago, and he was the most powerful person in the Roman Empire. That means war, plague, political drama, betrayals, family problems, and decisions that affected millions of people. In other words, he did not live a calm life. Yet in the middle of all that noise, he sat down again and again and wrote a private journal to himself. We call it meditations, but really, it's more like, "Dear Marcus, you know these things already, but you keep forgetting. So let's remind you one more time." He didn't write it for us. He wrote it just to keep his own mind from collapsing. And that honesty is what makes his thoughts so powerful for us today. You and I may not wear a crown, but we do know what it feels like to wake up and already be tired before the day even begins. We know the feeling of too many tabs open in the browser and in the brain. Marcus's question is simple. If life will never be quiet on the outside, is it still possible to be quiet on the inside? Let's see how he learned to do that. 2. The first skill, drawing a line around your power. Imagine you're holding a pen. In front of you is a large sheet of paper. Marcus would ask you to do something very simple. Draw a circle. Inside that circle, write the things you truly control. Outside that circle, write the things you don't. That's the heart of Stoicism. We suffer so much because we keep pushing against the wall of what we cannot control. Like a bird flying into a window again and again. Inside your circle are things like what you choose to say, how you choose to act, where you choose to put your attention, how you interpret what happens, the effort you bring to this day. Outside your circle are what other people think of you, what they say behind your back, traffic, weather, politics, your past, and a huge part of your future. Marcus keeps reminding himself, you have power over your mind, not over outside events. Let's make this very practical. Think of something you're worried about right now. Maybe your job, your health, your child, your aging parents, your financial future. Take one of them. Just one. Ask yourself, right now, quietly in your heart. In this situation, what belongs inside my circle of power and what belongs outside it? Maybe inside the circle is making the best plan I can, asking for help, learning a new skill, being honest about my limits, taking care of my body as well as I can. Outside the circle is whether the company will go bankrupt, whether the economy will crash, whether a certain person will approve of me, whether I will be loved exactly the way I want. Inner peace doesn't begin when life becomes easy. It begins when we stop wrestling with things that were never ours to control. The Stoic art of inner peace is basically this. Spend your energy where it can actually make a difference, and let the rest fall where it may. 3. The second skill, turning life into a training ground. Now, Marcus was not naive. He didn't think, if I just think correctly, nothing bad will ever happen. He knew very well, people will hurt you, plans will fall apart, the body will age, and everything you love is fragile. So how did he keep from becoming bitter? He trained himself to see life as a practice field, not a punishment. Whenever something difficult happened, he tried to ask, what can I practice here? It's a completely different way to live. Let's say someone talks to you in a rude tone. Your first reaction might be, how dare they? I don't deserve this. Why do people always treat me like this? You replay it all night, arguing with them in your head. You feel poisoned by it. Now, imagine what Marcus might write to himself. Maybe something like, here is my exercise for today. Can I stay calm, answer clearly, and not copy their bad behavior? Suddenly, the rude person becomes your unpaid coach in patience and self-control. You don't have to like them. You don't have to approve of what they did. But you can refuse to let them control your inner state. Every difficulty becomes a question. Heavy workload? Can I practice focus and priorities? Illness? Can I practice courage and acceptance? A failed project? Can I practice learning instead of shame? Being misunderstood? Can I practice clarity and not over-explaining? We usually ask, why is this happening to me? Marcus would change the question to, since this is happening, how can I grow from it? That doesn't magically remove the pain, but it gives the pain a direction. Pain with no meaning becomes trauma. Pain with meaning can become transformation. 4. The third skill, meeting difficult people without losing yourself. One of the most realistic parts of Stoic philosophy is how it deals with difficult people. Marcus literally starts meditations by warning himself, today you will meet people who are busy, ungrateful, arrogant, jealous, or selfish. Imagine writing that to yourself in the morning. Good morning. Today, you will encounter humans. Our usual strategy is either attack them in our head, attack ourselves in our head, or try to fix and control them. None of those bring peace. The Stoic way is different. Marcus reminds himself, they act like this because they are confused about what really matters. They don't see clearly. They're driven by fear and habit, just like I often am. That doesn't mean you have to accept bad behavior. It means you try to see the human being behind the behavior. So how do we practice this? Let's say there's someone in your life who always complains. Every conversation is negative. They always see the worst possible outcome. Marcus would invite you to do 3 things. First, expect it. Don't be surprised every single time. If it happens every day, it's not a surprise anymore. It's a pattern. Second, decide your role ahead of time. Before you meet them, remind yourself quietly, today, my job is not to fix their whole life. My job is to stay kind, clear, and, if needed, to protect my own boundaries. Third, respond from your values, not your mood. They complain. Instead of jumping into the emotional storm, you might say calmly, "That sounds really hard. Is there something small you can control in this situation?" Notice, you're not feeding the fire, but you're also not attacking them. Sometimes, the Stoic answer is gentle. Sometimes, it's firm. Stoicism is not about being a doormat. It's about not giving away your inner kingdom to every angry or unhappy person who passes by. You can choose your response and then return to your own center. 5. The 4th skill, building an inner room no one can invade. Marcus often describes a kind of inner retreat. Not a vacation, not a spa, but a mental place you can visit at any moment. He reminds himself that the mind can retreat into itself and find calm there, even in the middle of noise. Let's try a very simple version of that together. If it's safe to do so, you can gently close your eyes for a moment. If not, just soften your gaze. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Now imagine that all the thoughts in your head right now are like people in a busy train station. Some are loud, some are rushing, some are complaining, some are worrying about tomorrow. You don't have to make them disappear. Just notice them. And now imagine you take one small step back and walk into a little side room. This room has no screen, no news, no social media, no to-do list written on the wall. It's simple, quiet, plain. In this room, there is only one question. What kind of person do I want to be in the next 5 minutes? Not in 10 years. Not for the rest of your life. Just the next 5 minutes. Do I want to be reactive Uptight, easily offended? Or do I want to be a little more patient, a little more honest, a little more calm? That is your inner room, your inner citadel. The outside world doesn't have the key to that room. Only you do. You don't need 3 hours to go there. You can visit it in one breath, even in the middle of a conversation. Marcus practiced this constantly. It didn't make his life easy, but it helped him stay upright on the inside. You can do the same. 6. The fifth skill, making friends with impermanence. Now let's talk about something most of us try not to think about. Everything changes. Everything ends. The Stoics spent a lot of time reflecting on death and impermanence. Not to be dark, but to be more awake. Marcus would remind himself, the people he loves are temporary. His power, his body, his status temporary. Even the Roman Empire temporary. And if you look at history, he was right. How can this help you today? Well, think of something that recently stressed you out. Maybe a small argument. Maybe a disappointing message. Maybe a bill. Now imagine your 5-year-old self looking back at this moment. Would they say, yes, that argument from 40 years ago, that was the center of my life? Or would they smile gently and say, I wish I had spent less time gripping everything so tightly? When you remember that this day, this year, this body, this version of your life is temporary, you don't become careless. You become more careful. You become more careful about where you spend your attention, your kindness, your time. Suddenly, winning every argument feels less important. Being right online feels less important. Impressing strangers feels less important. But saying I'm sorry when you were wrong feels more important. Saying I love you while you can feels more important. Watching the sunset for 3 extra minutes feels more important. Impermanence is not an enemy. It's a teacher. It says, you cannot hold anything forever. So hold it gently and enjoy it while it's here. That awareness can bring a surprising softness and peace into your everyday life. 7. The sixth skill, aligning your life with your inner compass. For Marcus, inner peace wasn't just about feeling relaxed. It was about living in a way that your own conscience can respect. The Stoics spoke about 4 core virtues. Wisdom, seeing reality clearly. Courage, doing the right thing despite fear. Justice, treating others fairly and with respect. Temperance, self-control, balance. In modern terms, we might call this your inner compass. Think of a situation you're facing right now. That's not simple. Maybe you're deciding whether to stay in a job, how to respond to a hurtful person, or how to take care of your health. Instead of asking, what will impress people? Or what will make this uncomfortable feeling disappear the fastest? Marcus would ask, what is the wise thing to do? What is the brave thing to do? What is the fair thing to do? What is the balanced thing to do? We usually think inner peace comes from avoiding difficulty. But often, the deepest peace comes from knowing we did the right thing, even when it was uncomfortable. Sometimes that means leaving. Sometimes staying. Sometimes speaking up. Sometimes staying silent. The point is not perfection. The point is intention. You can ask yourself, if a calm, older, wiser version of me were standing next to me right now, what would they gently advise me to do? That imagined guidance might be closer to Marcus's Stoic wisdom than you think. 8. A simple daily practice, carefree sloth style. You might be thinking, okay, this sounds good in theory, but how do I actually live this way? Without moving to a cave? Let's build a small, realistic practice you can do every day. Even if you're busy, think of it as your Stoic inner peace routine. Morning, set your tone, 2 to 3 minutes. After you wake up, before you touch your phone, take just a moment and ask, what kind of person do I want to be today? What is one situation where I'm likely to lose my peace? How do I want to handle it instead? You might say to yourself, today, I will focus on what I can control. I will practice patience when I feel rushed. I will take one breath before I respond to irritation. You can write this in a notebook or just say it in your mind. 2. During the day, micropauses, 10 seconds. Whenever you feel triggered, a rude email, a scary message, a sudden problem, try a 10-second pause. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out slowly. And silently ask, what's inside my circle of control right now? What can I practice here? You won't do this perfectly. Neither did Marcus. But every time you remember, you strengthen your inner muscle. 3. Evening. Gentle review, 5 minutes. Before bed, take a short look back on your day. You can ask, when did I stay calm and wise today? When did I lose my peace? What can I try differently tomorrow? The key word is gentle. This is not a courtroom. It's a classroom. You're not here to punish yourself. You're here to learn. With time, this simple rhythm, morning intention, daytime micropauses, evening reflection, can quietly reshape your mind. You might find you get angry less often, You recover from stress faster, and you feel more at home inside your own head. That is the Stoic art of inner peace. Small, steady practice, not one big revelation. 9. Why this matters for you right now. You might ask, why should I care so much about inner peace? Isn't it enough just to survive, work, and pay the bills? It's a fair question. But think about this. Without inner peace, every little problem becomes enormous. Without inner peace, your mind attacks you, even when everything is fine outside. Without inner peace, success feels empty, and relationships feel fragile. Inner peace doesn't mean you stop caring about the world. It means you can care. Without drowning, you can love. Without clinging, you can work hard without burning yourself to ashes. Marcus Aurelius had almost everything the world can offer: power, respect, status. And yet, what did he spend his nights writing about? Not how to win more lands, not how to become more famous. He wrote about how to stay calm, how to be good, how to do his duty, how to accept what he cannot change. If someone at the top of the world needed this kind of inner work, then there is no shame in you and I needing it too. In fact, maybe it's the most important work we can do. A quiet invitation. If you're still here with me, thank you. This channel, Carefree Sloth, is meant to be a small, quiet corner of the internet where we practice that together. If you'd like to continue this journey, you can subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, sharing which part of this video spoke to you the most. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, may your mind be steady, your heart be gentle, and your steps be light.